us some crack, they gonna tell you where everybody at that's involved that they know of, and then they gonna tell you the ones that they think might be involved. Just let them hit that adrenochrome one more time before you cut it off for good. That shit, motherfucker, make the motherfucker start singing like goddamn it, the Temptations or Teddy. Spinal fluid. I tried to let the brother come in. I don't know if they're gonna let him in. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. There's another question. Look, the change in the timeline is so subtle, we're not noticing it. We're not noticing it at all, but it has been shifts in the timeline. It's been shifts in the position of the electromagnetic pole. When it's snowing in the desert, right, this is how you know that the magnetic field is changing its position, because it's causing the reverse phenomenon to take place. So yeah, they had snowed in Texas where it don't normally snow, especially like that. Had Texas in the deep freeze last year, right? It's the same thing they had Saudi Arabia in the same huckabuck at the same time. That's because the energy on the it's like electricity. It's following the path of least resistance, and when the electromagnetic field begin to move through the earth, that you're going to see the effect in the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is affected by the frequency and the vibrations of the earth. So the amount of water that evaporates from the oceans and lakes, and the positioning of underwater rivers or underground rivers that you don't even think exist. So you can end up going into a river sinkhole in Michigan and come out in the motherfucking Pacific Ocean going through an underground river, but they spring up now in the desert. So these are signs that the grid is shifting, and they'll tell you that the tectonic plates are moving, but it's not the plates this time, it's the electromagnetic field. Now, we are under what's called a Schumann resonance in the frequency of the earth right now. We need to flip the grid to a Shu and a Tefnut resonance. And if you go to the Egyptology, you'll see the physics of it is in the hieroglyphics and how it functions and what it does to shift the grid. You're supposed to shift the grid, yep. And this is the electromagnetic pole shift, but before Nibiru would come close enough to cause the tectonic plates to slide positions on the planet. And this is why they use the south as down phenomenon to twist our brain to believe that the earth grid had flipped, because we looking in the wrong orientation. It have our visual cortex disoriented because of perception. It's like a GPS. You need 3 points of conversion, and you need the right coordinates in order to know what frequency you tapping into in order to use the grid to navigate, right? But they don't tell you that you're psychologically capable of this when you move into your higher senses, because you are the antibodies to the earth, like your white blood cells is to your body. And whenever the earth got a problem, you the one they call it to fix it, meaning me, meaning us, the team, the crew, the family, the clan, the firstborn of the earthborn, the daughters of Isis and her son, all this shit, right? So the 12 daughters of Isis is the 12 symbol priests who got the same psychological connection to their mama as their little brother. But y'all don't know nothing about that, because y'all allowed them to misconstrue the stories and tell them to y'all with a scrambled perspective. While they telling you about 12 disciples, he telling you them my 12 sisters. And when they telling you about the 12 sons of Jacob, he talking about them my 12 brothers. What the fuck is y'all doing here? Countering the balance on both sides, right? Because one 1 plus 2 on your right is 3, and 2 plus 1 on your left is 3. And if you're going to balance it out, 3 and 3 is 33. So all you need is a third more of an increase, but that's just an honorary degree. Because soon as you end up at 33rd degree, you end up 1 degree higher than they frozen asses is stuck at 32 degrees Scottish Rite. Double head eagle. Cut that motherfucking head off. Right? Inherit the mother line and the father line by birthright. Mitochondrial right to inherit, motherfucking patriarchal right to rule. Y chromosome, X chromosome, right? And X marks the spot and Y is the unknown variable, right? But Y is still the question, because the question is why. At least that's what Jadakiss said, right? Why you got to go through all this bullshit when you can't just be on your own motherfucking accord, on your own ability, on your own skill, on your own level? So you got to always be in competition with some motherfucker that ain't even competition with you, right? So you just keep telling the motherfucking truth and you let them motherfuckers keep saying what they saying. And when you realize what motherfuckers is doing, and then you start to see this shit play out in real time, it changes your whole perspective on life. You realize the amount of control you have in the overall reality is the amount you apply using your God realized self. That's why they tell you always go into the darkness. It's the simulation of being in the center of creation in the triple darkness while you manifest in your best life, right? That's what they're talking about, right? Go into the closet, but let your light shine into the world. Blind these motherfuckers with your greatness, right? But we're scared to allow our greatness to flourish in the presence of oppression because we didn't want our enemy to capitalize on our gains, right? It's because they had capital gains taxes, but we didn't. They understood the tax shelter, but we didn't. They knew about copyrights, but we didn't. They knew about rights to copy the copyright off the power of attorney on the flip side, but we didn't. So all we gotta learn all they shit in order to get our shit. We gotta learn all of they shit in order to just naturally get what's our shit. We create this shit, we make this shit, but we don't take charge and control of this shit. So until we take charge and control of this shit in mass, that's the holdup. The holdup is in enough of us saying, wait a minute, I'm earthborn motherfucker right here on this land over here, right? You got to understand what took place on the land. They swapped motherfuckers out pretending to be us that they brought over here as servants. Some of them took sides with us. And you will know them because they're going to tell the truth. And the other ones took sides with the enemy. And you're going to know them because they're going to wish we shut the fuck up talking about our organic status to this land and our tie to this land. This is how you know them. It's obvious. You had the Gullah Wars when we tell the story, but when they tell the story, it's the Seminole Wars. So you can know the difference in who telling the story when you hear it, right? So we got these sisters. I'm gonna do a special on them one day. Some sisters that y'all need to be up on. One sister out of Haiti. Ooh, I walked to Haiti to meet her. She's so cold. There's one in New Orleans. I walked to the NO to meet her too. She out cold. She want to tell you the story of Oshun. How you in the middle of the story. It's only a little short clip. You be all up in there talking about, yeah, Oshun, you tell him, girl. All right, so we need to see what the mobilization should look like. We don't know what it looked like. We don't know how to properly assert the fact that we didn't reclaim this bitch, right? What we gonna do? The same shit they do, a news broadcast? Maybe. Take their shit over, hijack their shit, right? Then do a news broadcast or what? Show footage of these motherfuckers in doing their dirt because they all on film. That be enough, but that's still not going to tell you how to exercise your power and control on the land. Power of control is in forming the strongest family bonds. Look, I tell all of the chiefs, you're going to hear me saying this more and more regular. If you one of the chiefs, don't take sides in no family beef, but talk to somebody in your family on either side that you never talked to before at least once a week. You got family members that's just your cousin that you never talked to. You never had a conversation with them, right? This is the first step of rebuilding our family structures. The elder women, when you was a younger lady and you didn't get along with your cousin because you ain't like the way she carried herself in public, and she ain't like because you stuck in the church. It's time for y'all to get past that shit. Because when the family structure, y'all gonna automatically form around a matriarch. It's nature. When y'all form around the matriarch, then y'all gonna know the talents of the individuals in the family. The chief job at that point is to know who to put on the family boards to make family decisions from the position of competence. We're using the same think tank model for rebuilding the family that corporate America used to take over the world. Right? We're just going to apply it to the family. The family banks is the ones in the family that ain't going to steal from you. Then they're not going to deny you what you need in order to come up. We going to organize. The family banks got a purpose of taking out the central banks. So when the national debt becomes the national debit on the turnaround, because that's what has to happen. They close out the accounts because they have to now pay that amount of money to us. Because they said we was imbeciles in law, they was just going to continue to live off us for eternity. I said, no, the fuck you ain't. I'm not an imbecile in law. I know about your motherfucking papal bulls in your unum sanctums, and we not buying that shit. Me and my motherfucking family ain't got nothing to do with that shit. We need our accounts settled. Well, just so happens when the church settles our accounts, they got to settle yours too. The same way. So part of the infrastructure is family wealth building and understanding how to distribute. There will be counselors available in teaching modules on family banking that family members who has been sent to study how to handle the wealth, right? All of that's going to be available through the Small Business Administration. That's what they're going to be repurposed as, not for business, but family banking administration, to teach the family how to run the bank, how to use the money to help your members in your family, acquire property of different sorts, and, how to make the money grow instead of allowing the money to become your anchor. You can allow it to become your wings. So we finna stop all of this selfish shit, right? Because you only gonna get what you earn, period. That's all. Ain't no extra shit taken from you. You might get some bonuses, but you only entitled to what you earn. You ain't entitled to no extra shit, but you are entitled to everything you earn. And if you get what you earn and are entitled to, you have to make your lifestyle fit that budget, because that's what you want. That's what you give a fuck about. That's what you're willing to work for. But if you high ambition and you put in a lot of work because you know it's going to pay off in the long run, but you just don't know when, you might be able to, move higher up on the food scale. But if you look around your family, study the names of family members as you learn who they is too, because it's messages that your ancestors left in the names. And once you understand how the pattern of the family names work, then you'll know how to unlock secrets to your family line that can't nobody else unlock, just by understanding who named their child what and why they named them that. Where did that name come from? What's the origin of the name itself? The etymology, how did it come used as a name? When you start studying that shit through the family tree, that's how you wake up to the awareness of how they switched the names, when they switched them, what names did they use in short, and what names did they transliterate instead of translate. Some of the names, like for instance, those names Shaw are Shoshone, right? You have people who's got last names like River. Those are clan last names because we named ourselves after the parts of the land that our clan used for the purposes of survival. So when we say the creek, we know that they live by the small running bodies of water. And we hear the rivers, we know that they live by like the big rivers of water. And now we understanding that a lot of the rivers was rerouted from man-made intervention and fucked up a whole lot of the ecosystem. So tribes are out of place. We all over the motherfucker. We baby kills. We don't die. We multiply in this motherfucker, right? So we start putting this together. There are similar tribes, similarly situated, clear around the globe. And every tribe, similarly situated, is exerting prominent power around the world. The United States clans are dragging their feet. Our clans over here is the ones that ends the game. But everybody else clans is closing out they paperwork parts where they was being defrauded at, and then they moving it over into tribal jurisdictions where they can handle. Like y'all still think it's the Communist Republic of China when it's now the Democratic Republic of China under a matriarchal rule, but y'all don't know that because y'all can't keep track of that shit and live your life. I got to do that shit because I don't got no motherfucking life. I'm a workhorse. So I might as well ride in like a motherfucking knight, a black knight, and checkmate these motherfuckers while they thinking I'm just bullshit. I told them I was serious. Oh, here go my girl right here. Watch how bright the screen get when she come on. You ain't hiding, is you?
I was like, is he talking to me?
I'm talking
Hey,
to you.
Uncle Hayes.
I was just telling her how bright the screen was gonna get. This motherfucker black as hell. I'm like, what the hell? Where she got?
My bad. I literally just pulled into the house. I was driving in traffic earlier. But it's so crazy. First of all, Peace, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm doing good, but my spirit, I think, is struggling more than anything else. Because right now is the time where spirit is asking us to get right with spirit. Spirit is Spirit is asking us, hold on, I live where the airport is, so I might have to mute it a couple times.
So
Spirit is just bringing up, I feel like maybe the collective can, I don't know, maybe if you resonate with this or maybe the collective resonates with this, but I swear like everything from childhood all the way up to right now is coming up for me. And it's just like this reflective state where you remember the Ghost of Christmas Past where it would take the person, Scrooge everywhere? That's how I feel my spirit. Big Mama is what, that's what I feel Big Mama's doing, is just like taking me here, there, and everywhere. And there's certain parts.
what is she using to show you different parts of your life? Are she using visions or is she using locations to stimulate memories? How is she talking to you?
So I'm clairaudient, so I get messages sometimes audibly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more like memories. It'll be like I'll get like maybe sometimes I'll get like something audibly, and then it'll take me back to when I was a child when this happened, or somebody will pop in my head that maybe like I did wrong or they did me wrong, and then that situation will come up. Or like if, for instance, one of the things is like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like I have
You're reviewing your book of life.
yes, but the reason why I feel like collectively this is such a big message for the collective is because our hearts will be weighed soon. A lot of our hearts will be weighed soon. And so spirit is like, are you right? Are you like when once everything happens, not to be a Debbie Downer or somebody, but not all of us are gonna make it. Not
That's
all of
true.
us will still be on the land. And
That's
so
true. It's a lot of them know they're not going to be here.
a lot of us, a lot of us are not, a lot of people will not make it. And so
A lot of the ones that's not going to make it is actually telling you they won't be here.
what you mean, like they're just saying it
They
themselves?
saying it out their mouth. They telling you they're not going to be here. This is not supposed to catch nobody off guard when certain people leave because they telling you.
Mm.
But it's gonna catch a lot of people off guard when they leave because they not from here in the first goddamn place and ain't but not supposed to be here.
So I was talking to a friend about like this dimension, like planet Earth, and how like what our ideas of what it is exactly. And so he was talking about the Antarctic the gates. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Stargate.
Yeah, you know how supposedly there's a world outside of our world past Antarctica.
Yeah, that's just nonsense.
Okay. I was my perspective on it was that maybe this is that Earth is okay. I think about Earth in the sense of the Kabbalah, the tree of life,
Hmm.
and I think about it in the sense of like the reason why our heart is weighed at the end of our story here is because that tells us whether we get the level up or not.
Yeah, it's like a
What's
video
your
game.
take on it?
It's just like a video game. It's no different from